Alright, very, yeah. The credits, and then we're gonna watch the stat screen there of how all our characters did. Yeah, and I had to load my state there, as you saw. Yeah, as I did a cut there in the recording, but no biggie, right? The game is already over after all. So yeah, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. Great game, even though it's my least favorite on the GBA. You know, but like the graphics were slightly improved upon of the earlier games. The game has a lot of lovely characters. It is slightly harder than FE7. It's a little bit more like FE6. Not quite as hard, but yeah, it's more like that game on difficult mode, which I quite like. But even so, yeah, Fire Emblem 6 is probably my favorite GBA game. That game does difficulty really well. FE7, even though it's a little bit easier, it's very near and dear to me, and I like all the characters in that game even more, and the fact that you get to develop your support in peace is very nice. This game is very short, so you really gotta rush through it, it feels like, with the support, unless you wanna sit around and grind, you know, random encounters. You can definitely do that, but if you do that, well, then you get over-leveled. You really don't need to grind in this game. You really don't. Like, you get more than enough experience due to all the enemy spam. And yeah, speaking of said enemy spam, I think it's the common consensus that this game is a little bit simple in the sense that the game likes to, well, basically just spawn a whole bunch of enemies and send them at you, and so you can just set up a little choke point, like especially on Ephraims route, I believe. Like, there are a few chapters there where, you know, you just sit at the beginning and let the enemies count to you, and yeah, that's well, a common complaint that I've seen about this game, and you know, I agree with it. It is a little bit simple, perhaps at times, in that regard, but overall, I don't think that you can just sit every chapter out in this game. I don't think it's true for all chapters, but yeah. Overall, though, fantastic game. I like that, well, you know, once again, it's just ever so slightly harder than FE7. Like, and when I say ever so slightly harder, I mean ever so slightly harder than Hector mode. Hector mode in that game is pretty tough, but it takes a while before it gets tougher. Like, this game definitely is a lot harder earlier on, you know, than FE7. But yeah, enough about that. Let's see here. Holy crap, this is going on by fast. Chapter 10, Revolted Curcino, 43 turns. Yeah, that's where we did some arena fighting there. 411 turns all in all. Not too bad. Seth. 60 battles, 26 wins, 1 loss. Wounded at, ruled by menace, but remained at the end. Yeah, he doesn't ever truly die. And yeah, Eirikas, he did a lot. Lots of battles, lots of wins. Yeah, Eirikas is a really good unit, what can I say? He definitely shines the most in the early to mid game. By the end, he falls off a little bit, but really good unit. And Gilliam, look at how many kills he had! Holy fuck! 197 battles and 50-something wins. Actually, he didn't win all that much, but he battled a lot. Mulder died there. I missed which chapter. This is going by way faster than it did in Ferocia. But yeah, I'm a little bit sad that I lost Mulder as early on as I did. I was gonna try and support him up with Vanessa and Cyrene here. And yeah, speaking of Vanessa, she kicked ass. Ross here, he died at the Empire's Reach. Yeah, he died very early on too. Holy crap. Garcia, 1 loss. He returned to Ide to help with its reconstruction after the bandit attack. Afterward, he re-enlisted in the army, serving Renai as a troop leader. His strength, valor, and experience inspired many. I don't know why it says 1 loss up there. I didn't reset. I promise I did not reset one of his deaths, you know, quote-unquote deaths there. The same thing happened back in Fire Emblem 7 with that guy there, with the priest, with the guy in white robes. Lucius, yeah, he also had a loss, I remember there at the end. but I never figured out why. Naomi, yeah, she did really well too. Lots of battle, lots of wins, but of course she was with us very early on, so yeah. But yeah, she was fun to use. It's a shame she got a little bit unlucky with her level ups there. Arthur, Saint of Light. Yeah. Didn't even use him once. What the hell? Yeah, typically I do use him some, but yeah, I gotta be honest though, I like Lute a whole lot more, and you know, you recruit them at the same chapter there. And speaking of Lute, yeah, 83 wins. I mean, 83 battles, 58 wins, yeah. She joined very early, sure, but I didn't start training her until... I don't remember which chapter, like 13, 12, somewhere around there. By the time, well, we went on Eirikas path, I believe, somewhere there is where we started training her. And yeah, Joshua didn't get to fight either. Joshua, the Tempest King. He really is a really good unit if you train him. Like, good bases, and if you play on hard mode, he gets higher stats than he would on normal mode. All characters that you recruit on the map has that effect there, I believe. Natasha, the Sacred Healer. 85 battles, 50 wins. Wow, she killed a lot for being a priestess, I guess, or a Valkyrie, as it were. And yeah, she went back to Gerado to tend to the woundies. Very much like Nanna in Terrasia. Upon Ford's return to Renai, his secret hobby of painting was discovered. Okay, what the heck, Ford. 4 battles, 0 victories, 0 losses. Yeah, I used him a little bit there in the chapter where you recruit him, but yeah, I took mainly all the kills there on Ephraim there, as you might recall. And Kyle the Ardent Knight. Yeah, typically I like to play with both Ford and Kyle. You know, they are very solid units. And they are very easy to support up with each other too. There really is no good reason not to use them. Other than that, I didn't have any open character slots for them. And yeah, Tana, she died there. Yeah, a little bit bummed out over her death. I actually don't remember exactly how she died. And Ines, yeah, he did really well. Really, really well for a sniper, actually. Lots of battles. I've never used him this much ever before. And Cyrene, yet another dead one. And yeah, that's a good point. Garcia there, it said he had a loss, right? Or whoever that was. Yeah, it was Garcia, but his portrait wasn't grayed out, so he must receive a, well, an automatic loss, you know, at some point in the game, which you can't escape, I guess. Or no, wait, never mind. Like, okay, no. If you actually did reset, you would still get, yeah, the win quote here. But yeah, you just gotta take my word for it, I actually didn't reset at any point. Yeah, I don't know why it said he had a loss there, but yeah, I'm just gonna drop that. Dweser here, 34 battles, 18 wins. Not bad, I didn't use him all that much. After all, it's not very fun to use him when he's already level 10 and promoted, he barely gains any experience. And then Nolly died out there at chapter 15, I remember that all too well. He barely got to do anything. Komagu. Yeah, Cormag is also a decent character to use. Typically, as I said before, I favor the Pegasus ladies there. Yeah, I like the high speed growth. Cormag here, in my experience, typically gets speed screwed. Larakil was in time made Queen of Feraustan, yeah. Very nice. And, oh wow, Dusla, 96 battles, 48 wins. Larakil didn't have that many battles, huh. And only 8 wins. But even so, she was instrumental here in the victory, that's for sure. Yeah, then this guy died there in Darkling Woods. And Evans died at Hamel Canyon. 10 battles, 4 losses. I actually don't remember which chapter that is. Like, yeah, or what it looked like. And yeah, I was gonna use Marisa here together with... Well, what's his face? He'll come up here in a second. No, not Renek, but whatever. Yes, he died too. Dude, how many characters did I lose here? I lost a lot. I lost a freaking lot, you guys. Garrick, that's whom I was thinking of. Yeah, I was gonna support Marisa up with Garrick and Tethys there, but yeah. Remember we lost Garrick back in chapter 13, or whatever, like, back in Karshan City, wherever it's called there, in the arena. And yeah, when he died, well, Tethys just disappeared without saying a word. Ephraim, yeah, did super well. Typically, I use Ephraim a whole lot more. He was very laid back in this playthrough, like, Eirikas was my main champion here, if you will. Yeah, she hauled ass, what the hell? She hauled some serious ass. Yeah, Eirikas is not to be underestimated. She gets a slightly better legendary weapon, in my opinion, than Ephraim does. Like, mainly just because of the 10% additional hit it has. And did it ever even Huh. It never showed off Garrick, did it? Garrick and Tethys. Well, I don't know. That was weird. What? Or did I just talk over their portraits there? Maybe I did. I'm not sure. Oh well, but yeah, that's Sacred Stones. You know, I already talked about how I feel about this game. Yeah, I mean, if I were to rate this game, probably an 8 out of 10. Good graphics, good music. I like the character portraits. I like, well, all the goofy conversations you can access. And yeah, I like how the game is balanced. Like, it is a little bit repetitive at times, perhaps, as people say, you know. But overall, I think it's a great game. I think that's also, you know, what everybody typically would say. I don't think anybody really rags on this game for being bad. It's just that it has a few common complaints, if you will, with the enemy spam there. And, like, how it's mainly about just riling your characters up, or not riling them up, but lining them up, and just make a choke point for the enemies and let them come to you. Once again, especially on the Ephraim route, I think that you see, well, a lot of enemies just coming at you at once. Yeah, it's gonna be, well, fun. Yeah, I guess it's gonna be fun to at some point come back and do an ironman run of this game. Like, on Ephraim's route, nothing too much will change. I mean, it still will be fun to come back to the game, but I'm not super excited at the same time, you know. It's mostly gonna be the same, you know. But, yeah. So, yeah. Very fun game overall, but I'm just gonna leave it here. Next up, we're gonna start up Fire Emblem the Shadow Dragon here on the Nintendo DS, and we're gonna make a randomizer run there, which is gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's gonna get crazy. We're just gonna randomize all new characters that join in, and I haven't still decided if I'm also gonna randomize all the characters that you start with, like, as soon as I get the opportunity to change classes there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, like, bring up a list or something so that we can, well, mark down whom we have reclassed and all of that, so I don't forget here. But yeah, that's for the future. That's for future Nick to worry about. Yeah. Thank you guys so very much for following me here in my adventure. In, well, I actually don't know what this world is called, but in the Sacred Stones world. Whatever, yeah. On to Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. See you guys there. It's gonna be awesome, I'm sure. I suck at endings. Bye for now.